You know, if you study people who are at the pinnacle of anything, you recognize that to get there, motivation was maybe 1% of the formula. Maybe. 1%. And I'll prove it to you. If you want to become a world-class bodybuilder, say an IFBB pro, what that takes is you have to train twice a day, 6 days a week. You have to have 8 meals a day. Your calorie intake is regimented. Your meals are pre-planned and pre-cooked. You don't eat according to taste, you eat according to function. So my trainer, for instance, will eat and I'm going, what are you eating? And he's having he'll have chicken that was boiled without salt. And he'll have like half a kilo of it. And what are you doing? He says, I'm taking in protein. He doesn't say I'm eating. He says, I'm taking in protein. For him, it's functional. It's not taste-based. Then you will probably have to train for a minimum. And this is if you are a genetic phenom. You'd have to train for a minimum of 10 years before you could get on a stage and compete at an average level with an average global bodybuilder. Average. Okay. So why am I telling you this? All of us here at the beginning of a new year write these things called New Year's resolutions. And then New Year's resolutions, number 1, make more money. Yeah? Number 2, change my boyfriend. Number 3, get into shape. Yeah? Number 3, get into shape is somewhere in the top 3. So what do? You go to the gym, you get a gym membership. Yeah? You go to the local Nike store and you buy like all of your gym gear. You are motivated. You are inspired. You are going to the damn gym. You go to YouTube, you subscribe to all of the fitness channels. You go to your Instagram, you follow all of the fitness models. You are motivated. You are going to the damn gym. You're going to get in shape. That's what you're going to do. The people you're following on YouTube have been working on for a minimum of 5 years to look like that. So you have the incorrect understanding that after a month of working out, you're going to look like them. So what happens in the first month? You're excited. You go to gym every single month, and you take the pains and your body is sore, but I'm excited. I'm going to gym. Then life happens. Company doesn't make money. You don't make your targets. You fall a bit ill. Something happens. And all of a sudden you stop going to gym for a day. A day becomes 2, 2 becomes a week. Now all of a sudden you've had a gym membership for 3 months and you haven't been in that time. What did you miss? You thought motivation was the formula. Winners don't need motivation. Winners need discipline. Discipline's about getting it done because it needs to get done, not because I feel like it, not because I'm motivated for it. You think Nelson Mandela was motivated to spend 27 years in prison? You think Martin Luther King was motivated to march across the states and proclaim freedom? You think, if you look at people that change the world, they're not doing it because they're motivated. They're doing it because they made a commitment to do it and they disciplined to see it through. Discipline is far more important than motivation, which is why you got to be careful the decisions you make. Because once you make the decision, you have to see that decision through. Like my mentor says, first we make the decisions, then the decisions make us. So you got to be very careful the decisions you make. Be very careful the commitments you make. Motivation, I'm telling you now, is completely overrated. It's important. Don't get me wrong. We meet according to motivation. We feel good, rah-rah. But that'll fade. You need a stronger will and a deeper commitment to see things through.
One of my key phrases for the whole day: disciplines work miracles. Disciplines work miracles.
And I believe collectively as a group, we're going to kick the competition's butt because we understand how important it is to think, execute, and dominate. Suck it up. Get tough. Suck it up. Get tough. People want to have success. People want to make a lot of money, but they want it to be easy without any challenges. You think it was easy for me to become one of the top 450 basketball players in the world that you never heard of? The only way I made it to the NBA is I was fundamentally sound, I was mentally tough, and I never quit. And even when I wanted to quit, I had people in my life that would make sure I didn't quit. I hired and set out the top 10 motivational speakers, watched all their videos, and I watched them one by one because I understand that if I pay attention to what the best are doing, I could be the best too. I watched game film on Michael Jordan. No matter how much I watched, I couldn't do what Michael Jordan could do. I would watch Magic Johnson. I couldn't do what Magic Johnson would do, but I sat there and had these videos. I watched Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, but my wife was scared. I was scared. I called into my office and I said what husbands say. I said, babe, we're going to be okay. Every month the checking account is dwindling. I said, babe, we're going to be okay. Let's start a motivational speaking business. I go to Jerry Sloan and I say, Jerry, I'm trying to make your team, but since we don't scrimmage, I feel like I can't show you what I can do. Go to Corral, hear me clearly, listen to his answer, and it will unlock some mysteries as to how you become the best in the world at what you do over a long period of time. Jerry, I'm trying to make your team, but I feel like I can't show you what I can do. He says, Walter, I already know what you can do, but if you want to make my team, I suggest you listen, follow directions, and execute. Listen, follow directions, and execute. What I didn't realize, even though we didn't scrimmage and practice, throughout practice, we did drills, and he created what I call habits and rituals. Every single day, practice was the same. Every single day, we drilled on fundamentals. Every single day, we worked on the habits and rituals. So even though my mind was floating, even though I was selfish and self-centered, he was conditioning me into the culture through practice of habits and rituals. The reason why I tripled my NBA income in 3 years is because of habits and rituals. Next year, if your name didn't get called to come across the stage, I'm here to tell you they will call your name next year if you go back home and execute habits and rituals. I wanted to scrimmage for me, but Jerry Sloan was getting me ready to play for the Utah Jazz. So every day it was about habits and rituals. Having hot food is about habits and rituals. Great customer service is about habits and rituals. Being the best in the world at what you do, being a pro, is all about habits.
The heart of a champion. What does it take to really truly be a champion? Well, it takes more than excuses. It takes more than just giving yourself a pass. There are only so many champions in the world. And true champions understand what dedication and hard work really is. True champions understand if you're going to be a lion, you got to know what it means to go through the jungle. You can't pretend or fake it just to make it. To be a champion. When everybody else is sleeping, the champion is the one that wakes up. The champion gets up before the sun comes up. The champion is the one that never lets the sun catch them sleeping. There will become a time when you have to realize that you got to put in the work and you got to understand that if you're going to do it, you better do it with the right attitude. Because attitude is what's going to take to get you to the level that you need to be and beyond it. Champions don't just come overnight. Champions have to grow. Champions have to work. Champions have to dig. Champions have to believe. Champions don't have time to wait around for something to happen on its own. Being a champion takes work, grit, and understanding that if you're trying to be better than the opponent, you got to work a little bit harder than the person that you up against.
You must build a mindset for success. A mindset that can endure pain and struggle because it will come. Your mindset will make or break you.
A champion has to make significant sacrifices. A champion has to be disciplined. A champion has to be hungry. You got to dedicate everything about you.
Train like a champion.
Champions understand that discipline is always the key.
There is no winning in excuses. There are no victories and giving up. You got to understand within you is greatness. Within you is something that is waiting to be awakened. You are the one that is responsible for this work that must be done. Everyone wants to be great at something. But wanting it and doing something about it and ultimately needing it is going to take work. It's going to take dedication, because procrastination is the assassination of your motivation that would ultimately lead you to your destination. Make sure you understand that you're going to have to put something in it to get something out. A champion does not worry. It doesn't concern themselves about challenges that they have to face. They realize that they have to put in work. They realize that every opponent that they face is an opportunity to go a little farther up that ladder. You're not worthy to be a champion if you don't apply yourself to be one. You're not worthy to hold on to a title if you don't have the integrity and the understanding and the grit and what you need to do to maintain what it means to be a champion.
Take ownership. Take extreme ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Don't hide your delicate pride from the truth. Everyone took ownership of their mistakes. Everyone took ownership of the problems. Take ownership of your job, of your future, and take ownership of your life. And lead. Lead yourself and your team and the people in your life. Lead them all to victory.
There is a certain mentality that is associated with winners because there's a mentality. This is not about money. It's not about anything tangible. There's a mentality that goes along with winning.
Trying to learn early the consequences of errors in judgment, poor behavior, and then try to learn from others that have gone down a disastrous road, and sure enough, they suffered the consequences, and you say, wow, then I'm going to change direction because I don't want those consequences.
And to the positive, once you get that mentality, you can listen at a person talk a few minutes and either it feeds you or it doesn't. And you learn sooner or later that things that don't feed you, you don't spend time fooling with it because it is counterproductive to where you're trying to go. You don't argue with people. You stop arguing with people. You just move aside and go on in your own direction because you finally got it on the right road and you don't want anything to blow you off course. And now that you've got your focus, you want to be able to maintain your focus and keep moving forward. Likewise, failing has a pathology. You can get in around failing people and have failing circumstances and listen at negative talking, and after a while you find yourself unable to get back up again because not only are you down, but what is worse is your environment is down and everybody who's talking to you is talking down, and you develop a mentality built around your condition.
Learning from errors in judgment. A few simple disciplines practiced every day. Now you're on the road to success. A few errors in judgment repeated, and you can turn anything around.
Anybody who's not ever willing to risk will never do very much in this world. And in all probability, you'll end up being quite bored with your life. A couple things that I said last night that I don't want you to forget is walking by faith is taking step one before you know what step two is. After a few times, you get a little more used to it and it's not quite as scary, but taking a step of faith is stepping out to do something when you don't know how it will be provided for.
How you gonna show power if you're not up under attack? How you gonna show resistance if something's not trying to pull you over? Resist, resist. Stop being neutral and stop being indifferent. Resist. Take a stand and resist.
You know, courage mounts up, and then sometimes we have the doubts that creep in, and we reach a little deeper to find that courage that overcomes our doubts and our fears. Courage to do what you didn't think you could do. The courage to step into territory that might be a little unfamiliar. The courage to talk to somebody you don't know. Courage to stand up when it's sort of dark in your corner. The courage to do it when it isn't going your way, seemingly.
Be strong and very courageous. Be strong and very courageous. Be strong and be of good courage. Be strong and possess the land.
Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan anymore. Don't contemplate anymore. Don't make any more excuses or justifications. Don't rationalize anything else. No and no. Instead, be aggressive. Take action now. And what is the first action that you need to take? Take the step. Step aggressively towards your fear. And that step towards your fear is the step into bravery. Because we're scared of what we don't know. And there's only one way to learn and to know, and that is to confront that fear. You have to step, you have to go. And this simple action, this simple attitude, it answers so many questions. How do you change your diet? You step, you go. You step, you go. How do you overcome fear of failure or fear of success or fear of fear itself? You step.
Face everything and rise. That's what a few people will do. The ones who will face everything and run, they've already gone to look at television and constant negative news and other drama stuff and go to bed fearful tonight. They won't even get a good night's sleep. This is for people that are positive, that are motivated, and that are hungry. I can't say this enough. Work on your mind. Listen to things that empower you, that builds your spirit, that's got your name on it. Listen, why? Because faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. Oh, I heard it before. No, listen until you're producing the results. If you're not producing the results, you haven't heard it enough. You got to listen till it goes past the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. So you need a coach, somebody that can see what you can't see.
We all have doubts that attack us. We all have small fears that creep in. That is the nature of life. But that's what faith is all about. That's what courage is all about. To serve us when our doubts will not serve us well. Faith to overcome fear and courage to overcome our doubts. That, of course, is the very essence of life itself. Because we all have this warfare going on. In our own body, the warfare between health and illness. The struggle is on. The struggle between light and darkness, the struggle between good and evil. We must drive the dark side of our nature into a small corner and let the positive side flourish. So self-control is certainly necessary to be a strong leader, so that you can become the best example of choosing wise words and not being careless, that kind of control.
Fear, it's going to be overwhelming, but I'm telling you, you close your eyes at night and you go to bed, and fear, it's overwhelming, but I'm telling you, if there's just a hint of faith. Some of you are waiting for great faith. You don't need great faith. You can move a mountain. Fear creates mountains. Faith removes mountains.
That once a person's mind is expanded with an idea, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. So some of you are going to experience a breakthrough. Some of you are going to go back and look at your dreams and brush them off. Whatever goal that you have in mind, I want that to be a goal that will challenge you, something that will make you stretch. What is it that you looked at some point in time and you decided that you couldn't do it, that you talked yourself out of it? Whatever it is, bring it back out there. How you're going to do it, that will come to you in due time. You've got to begin to take a look at your life and look at where are you right now? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What gives your life a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy? What is it that you could love doing 7 days a week? See, you don't get in life what you want, ladies and gentlemen. You get in life what you are, not what you want. You see, the good news is that we can always become more by working to develop ourselves. Think about that.
I fought my way up. I fought to get to work. I fought to stand. I fought to carry on. I fought to live. I fought to get out the bed. I fought with my fears, my anxieties. I fought with haters, liars, backbiters, and betrayers. And many times I laid in the bed, I couldn't go to sleep because I was fighting with myself. I fought.
Why don't you let the people in your life off the hook? Maybe they did the best they could. They may have made decisions that you don't understand. Feels like it put you at a disadvantage, but you didn't have to walk in their shoes. Maybe nobody gave them what they needed to give to you. Bottom line, nobody owes you anything. God is keeping all the records. He has seen everything that's happened in your life.
You got to make changes. You got to say no. You got to disappoint people. You got to walk away from some stuff. You have to.
The injustice, the bad breaks, the person that did you wrong, those people cannot pay you back. They cannot make you whole. Only God can. Quit looking to people to make it up to you. Quit trying to get somebody to apologize, to admit they were wrong, to give you what they don't have. If you'll go to God, He'll bring you out better. He'll make the rest of your life more rewarding, more fulfilling than it would have been if that hadn't happened in the first place.
Some people get it the first time they hear it. And then some folks got to go home and chew on it and think about it and turn it over in their mind. And sometimes it takes a year, 5 years, 8 years. You can't be impatient with the seed coming up because every seed does not come up at the same time. You have to be patient with the soil. You have to tend it. You have to take care of it. You have to make sure that when the seed is ready to be cast, that the soil is ready to receive it.
I ask you to start that same journey. Let your new skills, new disciplines affect all of the rest. 6/7 of our life was to be devoted to labor and work, to produce a good family, to produce an enterprise. That's the essence of life in its best form first, is to be a producer. What is the reason for the seed and the soil and the sunshine and the rain and the seasons of life and its miracle? What's the reason for all of that? Here it is in a nutshell for your notes. To see what you can do with it. We've got books to read and we've got classes to attend and we've got, things to do and things to learn. And if you put it all together, you can have not only your health, but your fortune. Why not see what you can do with what you've been handed? As basic as seed and soil and sunshine and rain. Only God can create the sunshine, the rain, the seasons, the miracle of life. But here's what humans can do. Recreate those components into a harvest by planting the seed, reaping the rewards in the harvest. We call that recreation. To take your hours and your energy and your life and a bit of skill and actually recreate a career, a future, possibilities, fortune. Recreate.
I mean, really, how many years ago did you come up with what you could and couldn't do in your life? How many years ago? Most people, if they really look at how they're living their life today, it's based on a set of standards, a set of beliefs that they made choices about 10, 20, 30 or more years ago. I mean, very often we made decisions in our youth or very young about what to believe, about what we were capable of, about who we are as a person, and that becomes the glass ceiling, if you will, that controls us. I'll give you an example. Look at your physical body. Your physical body today is an absolute reflection of only one thing. Not your goals, not your desires, but your standards. Again, the strongest force in the human personality is this need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves.
So when you begin to say, what is it that I want to leave? What contribution that I want to begin to make? What difference do I want to make in life? What chances I need to take? What risks do I need to begin to embrace? What fears do I need to step on? What areas of my life am I dead right now? What dreams? You can either live your dreams or live your fears. You have got to get to a point where you say, I'm sick and tired of living like this. There's got to be more. That's when people go out and strike out on their dreams.
You don't always get your goals, but you always get your standards. Everybody in life gets their musts. They don't get their shoulds. Most people have a list of shoulds, don't they? Don't you have a list of the shoulds, things you should do, you should follow through on? I should get into the office earlier. I should be, more confident. Whatever your should list is, when you decide something is a must for you, an absolute must, when you cut off any possible, you say, I'm going to find the way, or I'm going to make the way.
Once you see that you're suffering either early consequences or severe consequences, all you have to do now is shut down that route, pick another destination and start going that way with some easy disciplines that day by day gather momentum, and now one success leads to another, leads to another. All disciplines affect each other. What's interesting about success is starting a new discipline, a couple of new disciplines, and sure enough, once you've gained just a little bit of success in a couple of new disciplines, it'll inspire you to clean up the rest. Each lack of discipline affects the rest.
You work on your mindset. You read 30 to 40 pages of something positive every day. You can't help but change. I'm an assassin. I'll kill every negative, mediocre cell in your body. You were born for greatness, not to be a victim. No, life happens to everybody. Everybody. And no one escapes it. It's called unavoidable suffering. Life is difficult. So work on your mind. I work on my mind every day. Every day I work on it. There's a calling on your life. And you're greater than your circumstances. You're greater than anything that has ever happened to you.
Indecision is the thief of opportunity. If you don't decide what you're going to do today, the day could get away and you're not very effective. Don't start the day until you have it finished. Is it possible to finish the day before you start it? And the answer is yes. If you don't finish it, the day escapes. And in the morning you say, let's see, what should I do now? In the afternoon you say, hey, time's getting away from me, what should I do now? And now most of the day is lost. Most of the day escapes not being utilized simply because you didn't make those decisions early, at the early part of the day. The decisions we make in the early part of our life sometimes last for a lifetime. If you neglect them and don't make them, sure enough, the time passes and the opportunity sometimes is diminished, and sometimes you spend a lot of time now catching up simply because you didn't make those early decisions. So it's the decisions at the first of the day, it's the decisions at the early part of the month, it's the decisions at the early part of the year that greatly determines what kind of year you're going to have. The decisions you make at the first chance you see opportunity, those decisions. Then we need decisions to correct poor decisions, to overcome our mistakes. It's possible, of course, for all of us to make unwise decisions. At the end of a few years, we say, that decision cost me too much, cost me a lot of time, cost me a lot of money. But as long as you're alive, there's still a chance to use new decision power to correct the mistakes of decisions that were bad in the past. All of us have the opportunity to do that, but I think Napoleon was right here too. You got to be definite in making decisions so that the opportunity doesn't pass you by. Take advantage.
The people that do that, the people that go against the grain, the people who ignore the naysayers, the haters, the people who turn a deaf ear to people telling them what they can't do. Do what you can do. Give it everything that you have. What are you hungry for? Because when we come out of this, our lives will never be the same again. A lot of people are going to be left behind. A lot of people will be devastated. A lot of people will take themselves out. But a few people, those who are able to rise, a few people, the road to life is straight and narrow, but few there be that find it, because few there be that are hungry. You got to go all out. It takes everything in you. You got to feel that you were chosen for such a time as this. This is an appointment, a divine appointment for your dream.
This could be the greatest time you ever live if you control what you focus on, if you find a more empowering meaning, and if you decide to model the actions of those who succeeded before you. It can be the best financial time, the best emotional time, the best spiritual time of your life, but you better take control of your state. And if you think you're going to do it just by today, you're wrong. You're going to need to get yourself some rituals. So you better do the right thing at the right time, and to do that, you better know what season you're in, and to do that, you better learn how to change your state, how to take control of your own conditioning. That's what I live for.
A good leader has definite plans. Your plans to be financially secure. You got to have good plans. One more on plans, and that is the plan for your personal development. The plan to be better this year than last year. The plan to take the classes, do everything you possibly can to show personal progress. Not just financial progress, but the progress of personality, the progress of communication skills, the progress in how to deal with people. You need those kind of plans. A plan for personal growth, personal development, a plan to be all that you can possibly be. Got to have good plans. A good leader has the habit of doing more than what he gets paid for. What an incredible philosophy this is. It's what we call the service that you put out like seeds in the ground that doesn't bring the harvest immediately, but the harvest is yet to come.
There's no secret to success. There's a system to success. The system works if you work it. If you don't work it, it won't work. But it works if you work it. And that's one four-letter word that most people don't like, that most people won't participate in their own rescue. And there are people who will be presented with an opportunity, who know that they could be laid off at any moment, who know that them keeping their job has nothing to do with how good they are. And yet and still, they'll go to work and have knots in their stomachs, hoping when they open up an email that they have not been told this is your last day. They'll go to work hoping there's not a security guard standing by their desk with a box and say, empty your things in here and take them to the front door and escort them to the parking lot. They go in there hoping it doesn't happen. Why? Because they don't want to do the work. It's an aversion to most people's spirit.
You're single tasking. Now, here's some of the keys. Again, I teach these in my programs. Number one rule is do things faster.
That when you look in the mirror, that's the one person you can't lie to. So every morning I would shave my head thinking, God, I would reflect back on some of the lies I may have told somebody or some of the ways I acted I didn't feel comfortable doing. And I did it to impress other normal people.
But watch this. When I bought the house, she's so D, because you get the D's confused. She's so D that she knew I don't need to deal with that. You deal with that.
I know life will back you down. I know life can be tough. But you are on a journey. You know my dad would say, go get it, son. Go get it, be sweet this week. Go get it, be sweet. Baby, go get it. Be sweet, baby, go get it, be sweet, baby. Every time I left the house, my mom would say, be sweet, baby, be sweet. My dad would say, go get it, son, go get it, son, go get it, be sweet, go get it. Be sweet, go get it, be sweet, go get it, be sweet. You got to be ready to fight in bounce back parts and counter punch, jab and jab back. Let me tell you something, life is a series of fights. The worst thing you can do is run away from your fights. In order for you to rise up, you better take your game to the next level. Your mindset needs to go to the next level.
In other words, pick up the pace. Move quicker. If you want to get more done, move quickly. Pick up the pace. Just move faster. Just move. Just imagine you're under a deadline. The other end of the building is on fire. You've got to get this done. It's absolutely amazing what happens when you put yourself on. Number two is work longer and harder. As Jim Rohn suggests, it's wonderful promise. Start a little earlier, work a little harder, stay a little later. You come into the office a little bit earlier. 1 hour of uninterrupted work is the equivalent of 3 hours of work in a busy office environment. So you find opportunities. You come in an hour earlier when no one's there, and you immediately start work, and you can get a...
The key word there is normal, everyday people. I was trying to make other people like me. How pathetic is that? So this mirror would always tell me, my reflection would say, God, you are a pathetic man. How does that feel every day to be this way? So I would just start having myself accountable. How did I attack today? How did I attack yesterday? And if I didn't do something I was proud of, I'd write down a sticky note and I would fix it. So then my senior year in high school, it was a totally different David Goggins.
Work at lunchtime, but everybody goes for lunch, everything quiets down. Don't go for lunch because everybody else is. Use that time to get on top of things. Don't stay an hour later. Yeah. What you'll do is you'll beat the traffic coming in, beat the traffic going home. It won't affect your schedule at all, but you'll actually double your productivity. So that's one way. Work longer and harder. The other is work faster. The third way is do things you're better at. keep asking, what are the things that I am the very best at? Because those are almost invariably the things that pay you the highest hourly rate. So do more and more of the things that you're better at. Now, the fourth task is to get better at your key task. Improving at your key task is critical. It's sort of like skiing. If you're just an amateur skier, you have to go very slowly for fear of falling. The better you get at skiing, the faster you can ski. So since most skiers, kind of measure how many runs did I have today? Well, a good skier can get 10 or 15 runs down the whole mountain. A poor skier may only get 5 or 6.
What brings me joy and happiness is knowing how beautiful the mind is. And I'm one of the few people that didn't read about it, didn't experience it through some drug. If you don't know who you are, I can't tell you who you are. We are all great. No matter if you think you're dumb, no matter if you think you're fat, no matter if you are fat, no matter if you've been bullied, or no matter if you just got back from Iraq or Afghanistan and you have no legs or your arms or whatever, man, we all have greatness. You gotta find the courage. You gotta find the courage to put your Bose headphones on and silence the noise out of this world and to find it. And to find it because it's out there, but it's gonna take hard work, courage, self-discipline.
Your information needs to go to the next level. Your relationships need to go to the next level. To be a shock is about how you move, how you operate. How do you navigate? You have to be disciplined every single day and train yourself to follow through on all your fundamentals. And that's how you're going to be successful. You have to do it when you don't feel like you have to. Do it when you feel discouraged. You have to do it. When you don't feel healthy, you have to do it. When you're under the weather every single day, you have to train yourself to focus and commit to your business and follow through, fighting for your future, fighting for your dreams, fighting for success. When you come over depression, you raise your arms like a champ. When you overcome bankruptcy, raise your arms in victory.
Success is an obligation. Responsible. What did I tell you? I'm responsible for my wife's health. I'm responsible for the home. Listen to me, my wife ain't never do nothing with my kids in school. She was like, you take that. I was so dumb, I didn't even realize she was giving me stuff. I'm just being real. When you stuck on stupid, you don't even see it. She said it on the podcast, sometimes when you so close to a thing, you can't even see it. Sometimes when you so close to a thing and people trying to tell you, you can't see it because you're too close to it. And I dare you to study, and we don't want to study because we don't want to discover what we need to change. Invest money. Read and study. Guys, I got my PhD, master's degree, 4-year degree.
And you know the old saying that some people think they think, and the great majority would rather die than think. But the discipline of clear thinking is the most important because the way you think, the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your decisions and choices. Your decisions and choices determine the actions you take. The actions you take determine your results. Your results determine the quality of your life. And it all starts with your thinking clearly. Thomas Edison once said that thinking is the hardest discipline of all. It requires real effort to think because, especially today, we are so surrounded with distractions. I'm always amazed when I go down the street or fly or drive as people seem totally immersed in listening to things. They've got devices in their ears and stuff on their cell phone, and they're listening to music in their car, and they're watching television. They simply cannot stop bombarding their mind with sensory input. And of course, when you're doing that, it is impossible for you to think well.
Don't you ever lose hope. Don't you ever give up your mindset. Sharks are powerful creatures. You've got to think different. You've got to be different if you want to be at the top of your food chain. So how will you show up on game day instead of feeling down about your situation? Try to figure out what you can do to create positive momentum for yourself. Even at your lowest point, even at your lowest moment, there is something that you can do to create a small win. Now your small win might not be the same. That's my small win. Your small win might simply be getting out of the bed.
Let me tell you what school did. Everybody like, you don't need to go to school. Some of us need to go to school. Why? Because I never knew how to read and study. Studying is a discipline. There are things that just don't come by osmosis. It's a discipline. And the videos blew up. TGIM blew up. Why? Because of the three of us, Carl had the most C, and Carl was a biology major. So he would literally take the videos in and dissect them like he was in the lab. Business is a science.
Marriage is a science. Parenting is a science. Health is a science. For real, you got to read and study, y'all. It's a science.
To think well requires that you practice a couple of techniques. Now, first of all, as Peter Drucker said, you need to take time to think. You need to create long, unbroken chunks of time. The rule is that fast decisions are usually wrong decisions. Especially fast decisions involving people or money are usually wrong decisions. So if you're going to make a decision that has long-term consequences, then you have to give it a lot of thought. You have to sort of look at it like a beautiful piece of porcelain. You look at it from every single side and think about it carefully. And the more carefully you think about a decision, the better the quality of that decision will be when you finally make it. How many times have you said, you know, if I just thought about that a little bit more, I wouldn't have done it? Or if I just thought a bit better, or I just taken time to think? Well, superior people, through experience and through painful experience, learn to take their time in making important decisions.
Your small win might be going to the gym. Your small win might be making one more phone call or getting up an hour earlier to put in some extra work. You have to believe that you control your destiny. Don't put that responsibility on anyone. I'll speak you something. It's happening. Something is taking place. The seeds that you've sown there are still working for you. The time and energy you sacrifice, they are not in vain when you plant food, which is really your goal. You have to nurture it. You have to protect it. You can't do one set crunches and expect. You have a six-pack. You've got to show up every day. You've got to show up day after day. You've got to show up when you're motivated. You've got to show up when you're feeling unmotivated.
People are teaching self-esteem these days, but they don't connect it to discipline. The least lack of discipline, and it starts to erode our psyche.
So the days you don't feel like getting up, just think about them. Somebody tell me in this room, when you think about your siblings, when you think about mom and dad and grandma, when you think about your uncle and aunts, when you think about those coaches, those people who've been there for you, just raise your hand if you said, E.T., sleep is better than that.
Make sure that as an inspiring actor, that it is your gift to act, not your passion. You gotta be careful about pursuing your passion, young people.
Keep it moving, be productive, be powerful, and from the bottom of my heart conduct. Your business. This is it. Your journey can be seen millions and millions of miles away in everything that you think. Therefore, you shall be greater than your fears. Be stronger than your doubts, because your mind is very powerful. Stop being sorry and start doing better. Better within you, better than anyone has ever seen, better than your mistakes, better than your failures, better than those that doubted you. Lift yourself up. Stop with the excuses. Stop doing things that you know that is not right doing.
One of the greatest temptations is to just ease up a little bit, right? The slightest lack of doing your best starts to erode the psyche. Instead of doing your best, doing just a little less than your best. Sure enough, you say, well, it's just going to affect my sales. No, it's going to affect your consciousness. It's going to affect your philosophy. Now you've begun in the slightest way to affect your own philosophy. Here's the problem with the least neglect. Neglect starts as an infection. And if you don't take care of it, it becomes a disease. One neglect leads to another. The worst of all, when neglect starts, it diminishes our self-worth, our self-confidence, our self-value.
Many of you are denied your dream and your goal because you have a consistency versus an intensity problem. Consistency is when you do something. Intensity is how you do something.
You say, well, how can I get back my self-respect? I'm telling you, you don't have to go to 29 classes. All you have to do is start the small discipline that now corresponds to your own philosophy, like I should, and I could, and I will. No longer will I let neglect stack up on me so that I will have the sorry scenario 6 years from now, giving some excuse instead of celebrating my progress. That's the key to discipline. Okay? Let's get kids involved in the least of discipline. One more, and then one more, and then another one, and then another one, and then some more. And the first thing you know, you're starting to weave the tapestry of a disciplined life into which you can pour more wisdom and more attitude and more strong feeling, more faith and more courage. Now you've got something, a vessel in which to put it. And now the equities start to flow. And the early return, I'm telling you, if you'll start this process, the early return will have you so excited, you'll commit yourself to this strategy for the rest of your life.
And that's why many of you, no matter what you do, no matter how much you do it, no matter who you're looking at, no matter what you read, you gonna be denied because you think that just being consistent at something is gonna let you win. It just, that earns you a right to win. That I'm being denied that corner office. I'm being denied that car. I'm being denied this quality of life. I'm being denied that opportunity, this scholarship. I keep getting cut off the team. You know, if I just keep practicing, I just stay around this team, sooner or later I'll make it. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because consistency does not guarantee you the win. Many of you, as bad as you don't want to accept this, you're never going to win because you're not intense enough. And until you get intense to the point that nothing will get in your way, that you will not get in your way, you'll never win.
All the things that will make you better depends on how you think, how you feel, what you do. How you perceive there are going to be times that you're going to want to give up, but you don't have the permission to do so. You must carry on the good fight. What great is in you if you don't believe of your greatness that you possessed inside? What good is your greatness if you don't stand on it? How can you hold on to who you really are? Inside the water may be a little rough. The tide could be coming in, but you got to keep on fighting. You got to keep on.
Just raise your hand and tell me, anybody in the room, sleep is better than them, Eve.
No one's going to do anything for you. Couple rules of being a real leader. You need to take responsibility for your own life. Bringing energy to your team. Leading in recruiting. Leading in leadership. Leading in growth. Nobody owes you anything, but you owe other people everything.
How bad do you want? You want it as bad as breathing? You want it as bad as anything you ever wanted in your life? And if you calibrate it at the highest enough levels, what I found is the people that are the hungriest, they find a way. When you know why you want something, when it's desperation, is something that most people avoid. They think desperation is a weakness.
You should pursue your gift. The Bible says your gift will make room for you and put you in the presence of great men. It says nothing about your passion. A lot of people pursue their passion and they forget about their God-given gift. Your greatest chance for success lies in pursuing the gift. So make sure you're not pursuing a passion. I'm passionate about golf. I love golf. I can't play golf. I love being outside. I love the carts. I love the grass. I love the challenge. I'm not a good golfer. I'm passionate about it. Got the clubs, the clothes, golf simulator, putting green in my backyard. I got sand trap in my backyard. Still can't get out the damn sand.
Swimming this path that you are taking right now, this emptiness that you are feeling, right now it is only a temporary magic, temporary thing that is going on inside of you. Right now it's only temporary. But it is necessary that you struggle, it is necessary that you feel alone, it is necessary that you have to continue to go forward. This is not the time to quit, this is not the time to give up. Even when you think you're weak, you have a way to be strong. Yes, darkness is upon you, but there will come a time. The sun will shine dawn. His coming the sun is going to rise, and you will see the light within you.
And I'm here to tell you, desperation is one of the most powerful emotions you could possibly possess, because when you're desperate, you find reserves and reservoirs of ideas, talents, when you find yourself in a desperate situation. So ironically, the one thing most people avoid in their life, hunger, which is caused by being desperate. When you're starving, you become desperate. Think of somebody who's starving on the street. How resourceful would you get if your children were literally starving and you had to feed them, right? So the number one thing we need more than anything to win is hunger, which comes from a state of desperation. Yet we're constantly trying to comfort ourselves in the real world to avoid the state of being desperate.
I knew someone was better than me. There's more talented people than me. Probably more talented than you. But like my dad said, the best ability is availability. You might outwork me for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, but you ain't gonna beat me over a year.
I can get out, but I can't put the ball where I want it. So you gotta make sure that you're gifted at it to pursue it. That's first. I can't tell you how many people are in Los Angeles, California, working at restaurants and Best Buys with their headshots. And every time you walk in there, Mr. Harvey, can you take my headshots? I said, what do you do? I'm an actress. What have you acted in? Nothing. I'm an aspiring actress. If you haven't acted in anything, then you're not an actress. You should go on some of these calls looking for tall, beautiful women. And you walk in the casting room and oh my God. Oh my God. the most stunning women you've ever seen. Can't remember a line. So be careful. It's doable, but you have to make sure that it's your gift.
Nothing can stop this because that light has already been there, that light is embedded in you, that light exists in you. The time has come for you to succeed, for you to stand tall, for you to understand that you've got a mission and your mission is not done yet. Every day it's not going to be a good day, but every day is a blessed day. Because you are above the ground, you are walking tall, there is no time for sorrow. Because misery has no place in your life. The mind is a powerful weapon because no matter what's happening, your mind does matter, and if you put the wrong things inside of your mind,